Nadezhda stood by the window, looking at the expensive car parked by the gates of the country house. The brand-new Mercedes belonged to her stepfather, Viktor Andreevich. The young woman grimaced, remembering how her mother had recently admired yet another purchase made by her husband. She admires everything about him, Nadya thought bitterly. Even after 15 years, she still can't stop celebrating the choice she made. Those 15 years had remained like a splinter in her heart. The young woman clearly remembered the evening when her mother packed their belongings and took her 10-year-old daughter away from their old two-room apartment on the outskirts of the city. She remembered her father, a tall, handsome man with kind brown eyes. Back then, Nikolai had dropped to his knees, hugged his daughter tightly, and whispered, "Forgive me, sweetheart. I'll fix everything." He smelled of alcohol, but Nadya didn't care. She clung to his plaid shirt and cried, not wanting to leave. "I can't do this anymore, Kolya," her mother had said then. "You don't want to change, and I'm tired of living in poverty." "Lena, give me time," the man replied hoarsely as he rose to his feet. "I'll quit, I swear." "How much more time do you need?" "For 12 years I've heard these promises. They're empty. You're not capable of keeping them." 6 months later, Elena Sergeyevna married a successful businessman, Viktor Andreevich. Their lives changed dramatically overnight. They moved to a prestigious neighborhood. Nadya began attending a private school. She got tutors and expensive clothes. Her stepfather did everything he could to make Nadya accept him. He took her to the seaside, bought her gifts, and helped with her studies. But the girl stubbornly rejected every attempt he made to get closer. "You betrayed Dad," she would tell her mother. "You left him for money when he was going through a hard time. We should have stayed with him and supported him." "Daughter, you don't understand," the woman would sigh. "I spent 11 years trying to save our marriage. Your father didn't want to work. He drank away our last pennies. I couldn't keep watching you wear old clothes and miss school trips because we couldn't afford them." But Nadezhda refused to listen. She regularly visited her father in his rundown apartment, helped with household chores, and brought him groceries. After they left, Nikolai truly changed. He quit drinking, got a job as a security guard at a cafe, and then unexpectedly began painting. It turned out that in his youth he had studied art, but abandoned it because of his struggles with alcohol. Now his paintings decorated the walls of his small apartment, bright, emotional landscapes and portraits of his daughter. "Daddy, you have real talent," his daughter would say, admiring his latest work. "Maybe you should organize an exhibition." "Oh, sweetheart," her father would reply with an embarrassed smile. "I do it for the soul. The important thing is that you come to see me. Your visits are the best medicine for every trouble." Now, standing by the window of the luxurious house, 25-year-old Nadezhda was thinking about her upcoming wedding. A month earlier, Anton had proposed to her, and she had accepted. Her mother was delighted. The groom worked for a large company and had excellent career prospects. "I'll pay for everything," her stepfather had announced joyfully at the time. "It'll be a magnificent wedding. A palace-style restaurant, live music, a European chef. Daughter, you deserve the very best." The young woman shuddered. Inside, everything turned upside down. "Daughter." An image of her father appeared before her eyes. His latest painting, where he had portrayed the two of them standing in a blooming garden. It was there, in the old apartment on the outskirts of the city, that she had felt real love and warmth. "Nadyusha, what are you thinking about?" Her mother hurried into the room. "The dress has arrived. Come try it on." "Mom, I need to tell you something." Nadya turned toward the woman, feeling her heart pound. "I want my dad, my real dad, to be beside me at the wedding, not my stepfather." The front door slammed somewhere down the hallway. Viktor Andreevich had returned home. Nadya took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. She knew her decision would hurt people she loved, but she couldn't do otherwise. It was her choice, her right to what she believed was fair. Viktor Andreevich entered the room with his usual smile. A tall, distinguished man in an expensive suit, the very image of success. He placed a large envelope on the coffee table and turned to his stepdaughter. Nadyusha, today I picked up the sketches for the wedding hall decorations. Would you like to see them? Elena Sergeyevna nervously twisted the edge of her blouse, shifting her gaze from her daughter to her husband. She knew Nadya's character. If she made up her mind about something, it was impossible to change it. Vitya, wait, the woman said quietly. Nadya wants to tell us something. The young woman straightened her back and looked directly into her stepfather's eyes. I'm grateful for everything you've done for me, but at my wedding, the person walking me down the aisle will be my dad. My real dad. That's what I want. A heavy silence filled the room. Viktor Andreevich slowly lowered himself into an armchair, never taking his eyes off his stepdaughter. Are you serious? He asked after a long pause. Absolutely, the young woman replied firmly. I've already spoken to my dad. He agreed. Nadezhda, how can you do this? Her mother burst out. After everything Vitya has done for us? For 15 years he has cared for you like his own daughter. He paid for your education, tutors, trips. Exactly, her daughter interrupted. Everything can be bought with money. Yes. But love, respect, and the right to be a father cannot. You said it yourself. He's just Vitya, not my dad. He never was and never will be. Why should a stranger walk me down the aisle when my real father is still alive? Doesn't that seem strange to you? Daughter. Elena Sergeyevna cried out. Dear, calm down, Viktor Andreevich said unexpectedly gently. Let's listen to Nadya. I want to understand her reasons. The man turned to his stepdaughter and said confidently. Please explain. I truly want to understand you. For a moment, the young woman was confused. She had expected shouting, a scandal, but not this calm curiosity. My real dad has changed a lot, she began. He doesn't drink anymore. He works. He's a talented artist. All of that was just hidden behind his problems before. He deserves to be beside me on such an important day. And I don't deserve it? Viktor Andreevich asked just as calmly. You don't understand. Nadezhda felt her voice trembling. He's my biological father. Yes, he made mistakes, but he never betrayed me. Unlike your mother, is that what you mean? He looked at the young woman very carefully. Elena Sergeyevna quietly sobbed and sank onto the sofa. Nadya remained silent, but her silence spoke louder than any words. Fine. The man rose from his chair. I respect your decision. It's your wedding. You should decide. He walked over to the table and picked up the envelope containing the decoration sketches. Tomorrow I'll cancel the restaurant reservation and notify the wedding planners. Nikolai Petrovich is now responsible for organizing his daughter's wedding. That would be fair, don't you think? What? Nadezhda stared at her stepfather in disbelief. But you promised. I promised to pay for my daughter's wedding, her stepfather replied firmly. But if I'm not your father, then my obligations are cancelled as well. It's perfectly logical, don't you think? You can't do this. The young woman jumped to her feet. It's cruel. Cruel? Viktor Andreevich gave a bitter smile. And what should we call your decision? An act of nobility? Elena Sergeyevna wiped away her tears and spoke in a firm voice. Daughter, you made this decision yourself. If your father is more important to you, then let him organize the celebration. That's fair and right. Mom, you know Dad doesn't have that kind of money. I thought money wasn't what mattered, Viktor Andreevich replied calmly. You were just trying to prove that to us. You spoke about true love that can't be bought. Wonderful. Then let it be your way. Nadezhda felt her hands shaking uncontrollably. Nothing was going the way she had imagined. In her mind, her stepfather was supposed to create a scandal, say terrible things, reveal his true nature. Instead, he had simply accepted her choice and stepped aside. "I'll call Dad." With trembling fingers, the young woman took out her phone. Nikolai answered after the third ring. "Hello, sweetheart. I was just thinking about your wedding. You know, I started painting a picture. You in a wedding dress." "Dad," his daughter interrupted. "Something happened. Viktor Andreevich refuses to pay for the wedding. He says that if you're the one walking me down the aisle, then you should cover all the expenses yourself. Can you help me and solve this problem?" Silence filled the line. "Dad? Can you hear me?" "I hear you, sweetheart." Her father's voice had become heavy. "It's just. Nadyusha, you know my situation. All I have is my love for you. As for money, I can barely pay my utility bills. So what am I supposed to do now?" the young woman cried desperately. "The guests have been invited. The restaurant has been booked. Maybe you should talk to your stepfather," he said quietly. "He's taken care of you for so many years." "You're against me too?" Nadezhda felt tears rising in her throat. "No, sweetheart. It's just that maybe I truly don't deserve such an honor. All these years he was there for you, and I—" "Stop it. You're my father. I love you. And I love you too, sweetheart. That's exactly why I'm telling you this. Think carefully. Don't ruin your special day because of old resentments." Furious, the young woman ended the call and turned toward her stepfather. "Fine. You got what you wanted. I apologize for my outburst. Walk me down the aisle." Viktor Andreevich smirked and shook his head. "No, Nadya. Now I have no desire to do that. It's too late. I've already called the restaurant and cancelled the reservation. And it's not about the money. I finally understand something. After 15 years, you never accepted me. I'm not going to force myself into your life anymore. Live however you want. You have no right." The young woman shouted. "I won't let you ruin my wedding. You already forced me to humiliate myself in front of you." "Nadezhda, stop this right now," her mother tried to interrupt, but her daughter was no longer listening to reason. "No, let her speak," Viktor Andreevich said calmly. "I want to hear everything she thinks. Then I'll say my piece." Nadezhda stepped closer to her stepfather. "Who do you think you are? Do you really believe that money can buy love? For 15 years I tolerated your presence in our family. You destroyed everything. Because of you, my father was left alone. And now you're trying to manipulate me through this wedding. If it weren't for you, my parents would still be together." Viktor Andreevich listened to her outburst in silence, without changing his expression. Only the tension in his jaw revealed what he was feeling. When Nadya finally paused to catch her breath, the man calmly took out his phone. "Hello, this is the bank's security department? Please block all cards issued in the name of Nadezhda Nikolaevna Sokolova. Yes, immediately. And cancel all benefits under the family program." The young woman froze with her mouth open. She had not expected this. What are you doing?" Her voice trembled. "What I should have done a long time ago." Her stepfather placed the phone on the table and looked directly into her eyes. "Pack your things. You have 1 hour." "What do you mean?" Nadezhda turned toward her mother, hoping for support. "I mean exactly what I said. Since you hate this wealthy life so much and consider me the one who destroyed your family, go live with your father. You'll be more comfortable there." "Mom, you're going to let him do this to me?" Elena Sergeyevna looked at her daughter with despair and shook her head. "I'm sorry, daughter, but you chose this yourself. Through your words and actions. We ignored your behavior for far too long. Go live with your father. It will be better for everyone, especially for you." 3 hours later, Nadezhda stood at the door of her father's apartment with 2 suitcases. Nikolai greeted his daughter with surprise, unable to understand what had happened. The next morning, a message arrived from Anton. I'm sorry, but I know everything. I was told what happened. I'm not ready to spend my life with someone who treats her family and the people who gave her everything in this way. Goodbye. The small kitchen in her father's apartment was quiet. The young woman sat staring through the window at the peeling facade of the neighboring building. Reality had turned out to be cruel. No money. No fiancé. No former life. Only gray everyday routines in an old apartment and the bitter realization of her own foolishness. Several times Nadezhda tried to speak with her stepfather. She came to the house, sent messages, and called him. For a long time he did not respond. Then one day he sent a short message. You may visit whenever you want. You are still my wife's daughter. But you will not receive another penny from me, nor will you live in my house again. Her mother was even more uncompromising. It's only fair, the woman said during their last conversation. For years, you rejected the love of a man who wanted nothing but good for you. Now live the way you always wanted. With your biological father. Without dirty money. Maybe this will teach you to appreciate what you have. Rain drizzled outside the window. Nadezhda listened to her father rattling pots and pans in the kitchen as he prepared his famous borscht. At another time, she would have been happy about it. But now, even the smell of her favorite meal could not drown out the bitterness of realizing her mistake. How foolish I was, the young woman thought as she swallowed her tears. I traded genuine love for childish resentments. I destroyed my future. I lost my family. And for what? For an illusion of justice that never truly existed. The rain grew heavier, and it seemed as though the grayness of this neighborhood would now forever be a part of her life. A deserved part. The price she had paid for her arrogance, her ingratitude, and her cruelty toward the man who had called her his daughter for 15 years. The end.